You can drastically change your life in 21 days. Now, I want you to imagine this. Imagine 3 weeks from now, you're waking up every single day with this fire in the belly that you've never felt before. All of a sudden, your life feels like a big snowball that's rapidly catching momentum. And as a result, you figured out exactly what your mission is as a man, and you're living every single day with purpose. You feel unstoppable. You feel alive. And you finally feel like you're becoming the man that you've always desired to be. It's wild, bro. Just to kind of like show you some proof here. Now, this was back in August 26th of last year to 2022. And now at this time of my life, if you actually read right here, I'm actually just talking about how low I feel. How this is like when I actually, like when I was talking about how I hit rock bottom, this was it right here. This is the day where I actually wrote it down and kind of like just let out all my feelings. And then when you skip to the next page right after that, I didn't like journal for around 4 weeks after that. So it was actually a little bit more than 21 days. It was more like 25, 26 days. And then I said, not even a month later, and things have drastically changed. I'm gaining serious momentum. I don't know if you can see that right there, but that's what happens, bro. Within just a few weeks, bro, your life can drastically change. Just to kind of show you, I wrote down my subscriber count from the month before. So within a few weeks, that's like 14,000 subscribers. Now, being a self-improvement YouTuber, content creator, I guess you could say, it's kind of given me a little bit of an advantage. Improving it's not even an option. It's absolutely mandatory. You know, trying to pump out 5 videos a week, that requires a lot of me. It requires me to show up day in and day out, no questions asked. I gotta be on my game. So, hey, look, there's 5 fundamental tactics that I adhere to on a weekly basis. And if you can stick to them yourself, if you can understand them and religiously apply them, your life will automatically, naturally just result in, I don't like to say success because that's just kind of honky-dory, but momentum. And that's it right there. That's the thing we want in life, momentum. The reason why I don't really use that word success and I don't like throw it around loosely is just because in life you got wins and you got losses, bro. And so what happens if you got a loss that week? What happens if you don't get that W? You can go to your head and you can start to lose that momentum. Now, before we jump into this, there is a method that you will need to apply, and right away, your mind's probably not gonna like it. It'll probably want to resist it, bypass it. But this right here, this is one of those basic, bare minimum, essential things. And most guys would label it cheesy, but this is what will separate you from those guys. And that's the issue right there, is that most men will skip this because that's lame, that's cheeseball, and that stuff doesn't really matter. That's just for like little noodle boys. So they'll dive into the deep end without doing the basics, without doing the essentials. And this right here is equivalent to building a house upon sand. Eventually, when the storm hits, that house is gonna crumble. So, hey, the most basic, bare minimum thing that you can do and that you need to do right away is get yourself a journal. This is like step 0. And what I'm gonna have you do is actually write these tactics down. There's something about just having something tactile, something tangible that you can hold, touch, see, that you can feel, and that you can look at every single day when you wake up, when you get ready to lay your head down at night. One of the greatest, most cheesiest pieces of advice that I ever heard was from Jim Quick, and he said, if you can see it, you can seize it. And that is so true right there, bro. You can't actually materialize it until you visualize it. And we've talked on this channel a lot about environments, right? Environments are huge. The people that you surround yourself with, your 5 most closest friends, you become the average of them, right? We know this. But what if you're like a little loner guy like me, right? Like I'm spending, 4 or 5 days a week in this room, like 9 to 12 hours a day. Ever since I went on this YouTube journey, I've kind of had to take a little bit of a step back from my friends just in this season of my life to really get things moving in my life and to catch that momentum. And honestly, my brother, I would say that my closest friends right now, if I had to be real, would probably be my editors who help me put these videos together, who live in India, Philippines. We got June, Monish, Habib, Zarpi, Gabriel. These are the guys that I'm in contact with every single day, you know? Like we're constantly collabing, trying to pump out this content for you. And so, hey, these are my boys right now, bro. We're a tight little knit. My point I'm trying to make here is that all the rest of my time right now, usually most of the days of the week, I'm spending alone, kind of just isolated. So if you're kind of like me and you found that you're on that similar path as I am, I've realized that at least in this season of my life right now, I need to be my best friend. And I've had to think to myself, like, if I had an older version of myself, that's 5 years older, so 35, say he was in my room constantly, or he was sitting like right here on this chair that I have here in the corner of my room, say he was right here all day long, helping me, pushing me, guiding me, challenging me, what are the kind of things that he would say to me? How would he uplift me? How would he help take me and my business to the next level? What kind of words would he be constantly speaking to me? And so with that thought in mind, those words, I write down in here. And then when I see this every single day, when I glance at this notebook or I look at the stuff on my wall, it's like that future self, that future me is speaking through these pages. The words are coming to life and it's keeping me in check. I can almost like audibly hear them. And that's why I want you to apply this same practice so we can get these words embedded in our head. We have to really be honing in on what we're telling ourselves every single day. It's kind of like that self-talk. And so when I look at these pages, this is kind of like me rooting myself on and keeping myself in check like a good friend does. So unlike all the other dudes who are just gonna hop onto this video and then just kind of skim through it, click on each chapter, see what each little tactic is, and then just bounce, thinking to themselves like, okay, well, yeah, I'll keep those things in mind. No, bro, you are going to actually write them down. You're gonna save these words and commit weekly for the next 21 days. So number 1, determine the reason why you will wake up every single day. Now this is something that you can do weekly. You can do it at the beginning of each week if you want, or like the night before on a Sunday night before you actually start the week. So for instance, I got mine right here. I'm not gonna say that it's a to-do list necessarily, because a to-do list is very specific, and a to-do list is usually something you do day by day. This is more so like a weekly agenda. So as you can see right here, like for instance, today is Thursday. So this is actually part of my 3-day filming schedule. I start my 3-day filming schedule on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Like this is where I strictly just film just for YouTube, and I pretty much don't do anything else these days. Like I might go on a little walk. I mean, like obviously I'm going to eat, I'm gonna stay on my diet, things like that, of course. But during these 3 days, this is my purpose. This is the reason why I wake up every single day. I wake up to create content to help your life. That is my sole purpose during those 3 days. And then the other days, like Monday, Tuesday, we got the gym, and then Monday's my day off with Bree. So I kind of just, that's my purpose for that day, is to spend time with her and make sure that I'm romancing her still. I'm still taking her out on dates, that kind of stuff. And then Tuesday is gym again. And then I work on my program. And that's kind of the same with Saturday, Sunday as well. I'll work on my program and then go to the gym, make sure I'm working on my fitness. Now, obviously, like this version, it looks all nice. This was actually, I just ripped it out. This is the one that I wrote the other day. Right here. This was me actually trying to figure out like what that weekly schedule was gonna be and how I was gonna live purposefully every single day. Yeah, so that's me trying to figure it out, and then I actually rewrote it on here. Made it look a little nicer, you know? But honestly, like people make purpose such a big, momentous event. And to me, I don't like to put purpose necessarily on that kind of pedestal, because that can kind of intimidate me and that can become less effective. So I look at purpose as kind of like a day by day thing. What is my purpose for today? What do I need to do? How can I live purposefully in this day and dominate this task at hand? And the stuff I wrote down here too, it's like, this is just for this season in my life. Obviously, when I'm done working on this new program, I'm gonna start adjusting some things, and just depending on which direction my life kind of goes in, I might find new purposes. I might find new things that God's calling me to do. And that's what I believe purpose is kind of all about. I don't believe it's like this one event. I believe that God is a God of newness, and he's gonna constantly kind of have you do new things as long as you stay open to that will. Number 2, I'm gonna have you kind of dig a little deeper here, which is write down something that you cannot change and find peace in it. Now, like I said, this is something that's going to require you to soul search a little bit. And the main goal of this, the main objective, is the fact that as entrepreneurs, as businessmen, headspace plays a big role. And we got to stay sharp. We got to stay focused. And so I need to make sure that my headspace is clear, right? And so if you have any kind of bitterness, if you have any kind of frustrations, things that you're having a hard time letting go of, this right here is something that you can do once a week. You can do it once a day, however often that you like, however often something just comes to mind. So what I did, for instance, this is something I did like a day or two ago. Before I started my YouTube filming for the week, which was yesterday on Wednesday, I wanted to just kind of let go of some things. See, just previously I had, this last week, I had a few videos that just didn't really perform too well. And I was kind of frustrated about that, kind of disappointed. And so I wrote that stuff down. And so I didn't want that to be the tone for this week. And I was just like, you know what? I need to write this stuff down. I need to get it off my chest and let it go. And so that's basically what I did. I wrote down my frustration, what I learned from it, and how I'm going to move forward. And to most people, they don't really see what I see. You know, I have a certain standard for myself of like views that I want to hit and stuff like that. But to the general public, like they're gonna see those views and be like, dude, that's still a lot of views. Like, what are you tripping on? And so I got to keep that in mind as well. And that's when I wrote this down, it helped me kind of realize that. And I was like, you know what? These videos, they did serve a purpose. It's not like they got 0 views, right? Like they still got tens of thousands of views. And God's using those videos to speak to a certain specific person. And so even if it affects one guy, the video served its purpose. It did exactly what it needed to do. And now by writing this stuff down, I'm able to just let it go and now move on. And that's the thing right there. That's why you write this stuff down, is because you just got to realize that there's some things you cannot control. So why allow that to just kind of float around in your headspace? Nah, get rid of it. So now you have more headspace to focus on the next project, the next thing that God's trying to have you do. And that way you can put 100% of your effort on it, rather than kind of like dividing your attention and trying to move forward but being bummed out about the past. See, as men, we got to focus on the things that we can control, not the things that we can't. Now, this kind of leads me into number 3, which kind of has a similar effect, and that is text or call somebody that you need to forgive. See, kind of like we were saying, your brain only has a certain amount of capacity to hold information for that day. So if you're pissed at somebody, that right there, that's filling up a certain amount of headspace, causing your brain to saturate its attention and focus less on the next mission. So you got 2 choices here. You either just let it go, whatever problem you're having with somebody, or text, call them, get in contact with them and make things right. And sometimes, bro, put this in consideration. Sometimes it's important to apologize even when you know you're right. So, hey, look, just to wrap this up, if you really want to transform your life, take it up to that next level. Sometimes in life, bro, you just gotta free up that headspace. And you gotta do this by ridding those excess little things like bitterness, like anger, and just all those little things that don't even need to be in there. Number 4, don't compare yourself to others. Now, everybody has their own timeline, my brother. You gotta stick to yours. You gotta stay in your lane. The second you start looking at what that guy's doing, what he's doing, you start comparing yourself, thinking to yourself, oh man, I wish I could be where he's at. Oh man, I could never be like that guy. I could never speak like him, talk like him. I don't have what it takes. Those are the kind of thoughts that will just naturally come every time you start comparing yourself. Even me, bro, like I'm constantly battling with this myself every single day. Even me being kind of conscious about it, me being aware about it, I still battle with it, bro. And it's a fight, it's a war that you gotta constantly rage against. The quickest way, bro, and it can happen literally in seconds. The quickest way to lose your momentum is to compare. Because the moment you do that is the same moment where your enthusiasm, it completely fades. Your hopes, your desires, everything in an instant in your mind becomes unreachable. So hey, look, don't allow comparison to rob you of this. Stay focused, stay on your grind, stay on your mission. And the last one, number 5, seek to improve all areas of your life. See, most men today, they usually just focus on one area, if anything. And what's typically usually that area? It's fitness. Most guys think this. They think that self-improvement is just building up your body and nothing else. When really that's like only 1/5 of the entire thing. And you know what? Fitness is great. Don't get me wrong. And that's a great keystone habit especially. That's a great way to introduce yourself to the whole self-improvement world. But it can't just stop there. You need to be growing in every single aspect. And so this is a practice that I've been doing lately. I actually got this from Hamza. I saw him do this like, 3 or 4 months ago. I kind of applied the same thing, but kind of made it my own to adjust my lifestyle accordingly. So right here, we got Monday through Friday, as you can see. And then these are all my categories right here that I want to improve in, that I want to progress in, right? So I got the mentality category, spiritually, physically, financially, and relationally. So mentality is basically working on this up here, reading books, filling myself up with wisdom, knowledge. Next up, we got spirituality, which is prayer, meditation, immersing myself into my word and growing this right here, my connection, my relationship with God. Next up is physically, fitness, working out, eating right. Financially, which is anything under the umbrella of just my business, things that generate me income, like this right now. And then we got relationally, which is usually that correlates with my wife and spending time with her, right? And so now I have these boxes right here for each single week, and now we're on Thursday. And as you can see on Thursday, I've only done 2 of those things, which is I went on a little run today, so I checked mark physically, and then financially, which is what I'm basically doing right now. I just checked mark that right now because I'm working on my businesses right now. I'm working on my finances. I'm putting my hands to things, making videos, making content that are actually going to generate me more income, right? And so by seeing this, by having these boxes, they just kind of keep me in check, and they put that pressure on, because at the end of each day, I want to make sure that every single box is checked. And hey, the great thing about this is even if you improved yourself 1% in that particular category, you can check mark that sucker. It keeps the momentum going. Even if you only did like 50 push-ups, 50 sit-ups, 50 squats, Hey, that right there, that's a lot better than the guy who just sat on his couch eating potato chips watching Netflix for 3 hours. Even if like you're not much of a reader, but hey, you read 1 page today, hey, that's a great start. So check mark that box, bro. And then eventually, if you just read 1 page a day for 7 days, you could check mark it every single day, and that's 7 pages. And that's more than what 99% of men are even doing. And that's why I'm saying right there, like most men aren't gonna be doing any of this. They're not gonna be writing this stuff down. They're just gonna come in here and check out the summary guy, what he said, and then bounce. And that's why their lives will never change. They'll never transform themselves like you will. You will be the type of guy that starts this journey and actually sees it through. Unlike these other bozos out here that they start off the year, no, this is the new me, right? And they start going to the gym 7 days a week and they're drinking their protein shakes, but what happens after 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks? Their momentum just plummets and then they find themselves back at ground zero, unmotivated with no fire in the belly whatsoever. So hey, this right here, this is one of those bare minimum, basic, essential things, one of those like kind of cheesy things that no other guy is gonna do. This right here is accountability. These are the things that are gonna keep you in check. No pun intended. So hey, I appreciate you, bro. Get to this, get yourself a journal, start writing these things down. When you do this, it just gets the ball rolling. Rather than just trying to jump in the deep end like most guys do, and they start off all their journeys with hype, and then the hype just fades away. You're gonna lay the groundwork first. You are going to commit, you are gonna check mark these boxes, keep yourself accountable, and you're gonna stay focused on your path. So hey, thumbs up if you dug today's video. Please hit the notifications button to be informed when I drop a new one, and check out this one right here. This is a powerful one. I'll catch you on the next vid. Peace always.